There's something magical in discovering something new. The exciting feeling that I get whenever I find myself lost in an environment is simply incomparable to anything else. There's no established feeling telling you where to go or how to take whatever path that you need to get to your destination. It's not just the physical journey that I find myself lost in, however. There's no established feeling telling you where to go or to take whatever path to get to the destination. Whenever I start up a new script, I get the feeling that causes me to feel as though I'm free to fill the page with my thoughts, and little by little just making my way through the topic. Something that I feel probably relates to how an artist feels filling up their canvas, or how a musician feels watching a tune go from simple notes to a beautiful melody. I've even recently felt this as I was attempting to get back into voice acting, as my own experiences lend myself to the performances, allowing me to express myself in ways that I've never been able to before. While it's an important thing to feel your way around things in the beginning, the older I grow with my experiences of writing and acting, the more the rules get defined, and the less freedom I have to approach these things the way I see fit. While it's still, for all intents and purposes, a fun experience to attempt these and give it my all to the craft, the mind-boggling feeling that I have that I'm not doing it right, and the view of others doing it better than me can be a taxing experience. It can, at times, cause me to want to give up, as I could never be able to compare to them. It makes me long for those days where everything was exciting and new. I still feel a deep love for my passions, but the limitations of how things are and how they're supposed to be hinders my progress at the least convenient times. Is it good enough? Why doesn't my take have as much energy as his? Will this even come across as something that makes sense? I feel like I'd do a lot better if I just keep going despite how much I keep second-guessing myself. Honestly, there's times where I look back at my earlier work and smile, knowing that the love and passion was truly there. Sure, they were a bit rudimentary, especially the audio quality. I mean, really, I really should have fought for better audio quality, huh? But the amount of heart and passion I have for these things are very clearly shown in my work. Something that I almost see that I might be lacking in my current stuff. But it's not just myself that I see in this. You'd be surprised how many up-and-coming actors or artists actually have this strong drive. It makes me envious seeing such a work ethic, working at their craft and exploring their strengths and weaknesses. There's just something about the mentality of exploration that makes some people just want to show them the ropes. But in doing so, they inherently impose limitations on those they wish to excel. While that's not inherently a bad thing, it does stifle the creativity inherent frame of reference that someone who's new to something might actually have. Like, take politics for example. While I'd hate to bring this into a debate about anything political around a time like this.
Use the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what?
I'd just like to bring up that usually things are pretty stagnant for way too long. The younger members of society usually bring about change, and it's usually the older member of society that becomes jaded, seeing things from a more static point of view, swearing by a personal point of view is the best way to live, whereas the younger generation usually has a more wider approach to it. It's especially been the case in video games, where the ways of the past are plastered as the best, but some of the greatest innovations shake things up and change the perspectives of things. It's often seen all over the place in the industry, with gaming companies sticking to what worked. But it's this hardiness to want to go out and venture into the unknown that makes the young and the fearless go out and make mistakes, causing things to flow into motion and bringing about a much needed change. A YouTuber by the name of The Storyteller actually made a video touching this, where Gurren Lagann makes the connection of how an epic journey of these characters was essentially the young overcoming the established rules of the world and time again, surpassing the past and spiraling towards the future. It's a really interesting watch for anyone who wants to give it a look. While spiraling towards the future is one of the great things about moving forwards with youth, Innocence has its own crushing flaws as well. Something that a show made in Abyss makes you feel through its characters and the crushing, unforgiving world that it portrays. This exploration of an unknown and exotic world is touted as just the Abyss, and that title rings true to the dark and ominous nature that this world has. While on the surface a mysterious world of wonder would be the ideal place to explore, the deeper you go into the unknown, the more it twists your perception of wanting knowledge, thus the more foreign everything seems. In this show, for every mystic piece of lore the Abyss gives, there's an equally terrifying and a strange concept that makes you want to turn back. From the deeply disturbing creatures that paralyze its victims for life with just a simple prick of its spikes, to a species of insects that take a hold of someone's body and keeps it alive for years at a time so it can feast off it, gathering the maximum nutrition off of it. And I'm not trying to creep anyone out. I'm just saying that this Abyss stuff is really, really dark. The two main characters, Reg and Rico, come across cruelness after cruelness, testing their quest for knowledge, and whether or not they'd actually make it to the bottom or not. But unlike most adults pitted in their situation, rather than wanting to turn back, each new challenge is met with awe and wonder. I mean, there's literally adults that are dedicated to being specialists of this world, and they are the ones that are testing the children at every turn, putting their drive to want to explore this place to the test. But through it all, their desire for knowledge and their determination for pushing forward seems to even succeed the specialists themselves, proving that their innocence of exploring this harsh world causes them to rush forward to the future, towards their destination, without cause for stopping. Not just because of their ignorance, but also in spite of it. Everything out there is desperate to take the innocence of another. I say this not because children are often belittled because of how much they don't know, but adults are as well. If they don't see things or act a certain way, they can become ostracized for not fitting the mold that are predestined for them. You're chastised for not knowing the rules of society or not following the mold, especially if you're trying to make it your own way. I believe it's the childlike wonder that drives us to accomplish the impossible in the first place and challenge the status quo. It's one thing to want to give up and turn back to what's familiar, but pushing forward to the unknown takes a bit of innocence to understand that you'll end up getting lost, and may very well just find yourself in a situation that might be too paralyzing to move forward. But that's where another metaphor for the Abyss actually makes a lot of sense to me. You see, in the series, moving forward actually has no penalty besides what you come across. You can go as deep as you want so long as you have the will to survive to do so. However, turning back has a very negative effect, and the deeper you go, even death can be a penalty. Essentially, the more you move down, the only obstacle you need to face is survival, while the beauty, or I guess terror, of turning back is I guess that you can go to an easier environment, but you could end up losing your will to descend again, to get closer to the source of the unknown and become one with your desire for knowledge. Or die. So, what is it you'll do? Will you will yourself to move deeper and deeper into the unknown? Or will you succumb to the fear and rise back to the surface? Even now as I make this video, I feel as though going deeper would just force me to reach a dead end. Or I could die from making a stupid mistake. Well, metaphorically, of course. What I really mean is that I'll end up never making it, and in doing so, brand myself as a failure forever. But perhaps it's too early to give up now and crawl back to my comfortability. Perhaps I really could make it down to the bottom of the abyss. Thank you all so much for watching. For those of you new to the channel, thanks for sticking around. And for those of you that stuck around my channel this long, thank you so much for putting up with how different my content is becoming. That and how sporadically I upload. I'm gonna try and shoot for uploads once every 2 weeks, so if you like what you've been seeing, then please do stick around for more to come. And if you don't, please let me know. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I've also decided to open up my Patreon to the public for anyone that feels like leaving me morally obliged to not give up by helping out. But once again, I really appreciate anyone that made it to the end. You're the real MVP. Thanks again. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.